Hi guys, hope you're having a good day. You're crushing your workout, you're doing well with your nutrition, you're following your plan, and you're seeing results, and you're participating in the community, and everybody's getting value out of being here and also from the videos as well. Now, this topic is going to be on how there are certain individuals that have been eating high types of high glycemic foods, or as you would call like junk foods, sugary foods, most of their life, haven't really had a structure to their eating, have never really nutritionally benefited their physique or their body because of the way they've been eating over time, right? And some people have been so used to it since they were a child because that's what their parents did. They would just have either high caloric density type of foods, they would just have like high fried foods, chips all the time, or they would have things like ice cream that were higher amounts of like sugar and fat, more pizza, order out all the time, and all that stuff. So you get the picture, right? And then the other thing to that is that they would have high amounts of that food. So they wouldn't control how much they would eat of it, or their parents wouldn't even regulate how much they were eating, right? So I want people to understand that when it comes to individuals, or when it comes to people, or even yourself, if this is you, right? Whether you've been doing it on the lower end, or especially if you're somebody who's been doing it on the higher end for most of their life and haven't really switched their eating, individuals like this, or again, if it's you, if you're watching this and this fits your persona, are going to find it harder to be able to stop eating higher amounts of food and get away from those foods because of the dopamine hits and effect that this causes in their brain. And this is a proven thing now, where it becomes easier for them to overeat or to go and get attracted to those types of foods, right? Because that's what they've been used to eating, and that's what their body has been wanting to eat. Now, this doesn't negate the fact, right, that you still have to control yourself when doing this. You still have to come up with a plan. You still have to incorporate other types of foods, or you still have to incorporate other means of stopping yourself or really limiting yourself from doing this, right? That's still up to you at the end of the day as the individual. It still comes down to you. And now that you know that this is the case, it's going to be your responsibility, right? And it always has been. Unfortunately, like I said, some people have been brought up in families where this is the norm, and then they get kind of thrown out into the world, and they've been built this way since they were a little kid. But nonetheless, it's still your responsibility, and you have to be the one that's going to say, okay, I've been doing this all my life, or I've been doing this for a period of time now, whatever it is. I need to do something that's going to help me stop doing that. Now, I've already mentioned in this course earlier on that there are some people that are able just to say, hey, I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to switch to better eating, and all the power to them. There's other people that really do struggle doing that. I've worked with them, and I continue to work with some clients like that. And I used to be the individual that used to say, like, you know, you just need to sit down and you just need to start eating these foods, and you need to start cutting them out and continue to do that, and you'll get the results. And again, as I said, there is truth to that, but at the end of the day, it's not as easy for some individuals, especially for ones that are really overweight and have been eating this way their whole life. For them to change on the whim like that is very hard to do because they've been structured to be eating a certain way. But there are certain things that you can do in order to help you do that. And like I've already touched base on in another video, you want to start having certain foods that are going to be less in calories, but you might consider still not healthy, that aren't technically healthy for you at the end of the day, right? And one of those small examples is from having Coke to having Diet Coke, right? And I know when I say that, some people are going to be like, yeah, but Diet Coke is shit for you, it's not good. I get that. But when you're having and you're dealing with somebody who's been drinking these types of sugary drinks all their life and has been having the foods that I've already spoken about and needs to start losing weight and is just getting into starting a routine, that's going to be beneficial for them. And then when you get them down to having Diet Coke, you slowly get them off that to just drinking water or some beverages that are going to be healthier for you and lower calories nonetheless. Diet Coke has 0 calories. Coke has a shit ton of calories, right? What we want to do is we want to bring down your body fat percentage first. That's the main goal. And then you can always switch off from doing Diet Coke, right? You want to look for other foods that are generally 50% less fat or lower calorie, and start incorporating those types of foods that you can generally eat a little bit more of, but will still be in a calorie deficit, right? And you will still lose weight because of the less calories that you're having. Those are some of the things that you want to incorporate. If you're somebody, like I said, who can just get right to eating better foods and eating lower calorie dense foods that are healthier for you, incorporating more vegetables, that's amazing. That's a plus, right? But again, not everybody can do that. I have a number of clients where they will do that during the week, and then on the weekend, if I know that they can have it and they've proven that they are able to not go off and binge eat, then they will end up having something as long as it's in their caloric limit that I've set for them. They will have either some sort of junk food or maybe a beer, or whatever the case is that they like to have, that they enjoy eating, right? What's going on, guys? I hope you're doing well and you're getting a lot of value from the course. I just wanted to take a second to let you know, if you wanted more of a direct and personal approach, then you can get on my app in order to do so. There's two options. One with a workout program that's already done for you over the course of 3 months. You can choose whether it's weight loss or muscle building. It has tasks that you're gonna need to complete, an area where you can do your nutrition and your macros, and a progressive overload plan that's gonna be changed every month to make sure you're always gonna be challenged. Or if you wanna work with me one-to-one, where I take over your nutrition, I look at your workout plan, I build you something that's specifically for you, that's gonna allow you to scale and get the results that you want, and also add in flexibility and mobility movements and exercises to help reduce the chances of you getting injured. Look over your nutrition and your macros to dial in what you should be eating, how many calories you should be intaking, and have accountability calls with you to make sure that you're staying on top of your game and results are always coming in. And scale that for you when needed. So if this is something that you want, either option, there's two links below, one that's gonna take you to the monthly plan, and then the other that's gonna take you to a Calendly link that's gonna book a call with me. Anyways, that's enough talking from me. Let's get back to the course. Some people, you can't do that. That's why when I work with clients on a client-to-client basis, on a one-to-one basis, it's literally tailored to each individual, because especially when it comes to the nutrition side of things, I have to see and they have to show me that they're going to be able to handle eating a healthier regimen. And it also comes down to the person. Some people, I just end up switching their diet completely, and they have to stay away from eating certain foods because of how they act when they get around it. They will even admit to you and say that they can't control it when they're around certain foods because of how long they've been having these foods for. Now, on the flip side to that, everybody can always gain control of that. It can be as little as a few weeks to a few months. I've seen it range depending on the client and the individual and what their mindset and what their capabilities are when it comes to them being able to control themselves and telling themselves, I don't need this, I don't need to have these certain types of foods, I'm still going to be fine at the end of the day, and then switch their focus to something else. But it really does differ on the individual. And depending on what category you fall in is going to depict on how long this might take for you to lose weight, and also what your strength levels are going to be in regards to saying no to certain foods. Again, this typically falls for individuals who are generally a lot more overweight and have been subjected to eating these types of foods, and they themselves have been choosing to have these foods over time, right? Generally speaking, for people who are a lower body fat percentage but want to lose some weight, it's generally a bit easier for them to handle this because they still don't have as much body fat to lose compared to somebody who's a lot larger than them. So it generally is a bit easier for them, but again, it's not always the case. So there's gonna be a list of foods as an example that I'm gonna put here for you to download that you can start incorporating in your daily eating routine for you to start losing weight. If you don't have or you don't eat any foods that are similar to these, that's okay. This is just a suggestion sheet. It's something that you can look at that can even give you some ideas so that when you go to the grocery store and you start buying food, you can start incorporating some similar items to your eating regimen every day so that you can start losing some weight. Now, I just want to get two other points across very quickly. Again, the main goal at the end of the day is to get into a better eating habit. So even though you're going to be, if you're somebody who's going to start incorporating some of these foods, you still want to gear towards eating low calorie, high nutritional foods, right? So the healthy foods that you've grown up knowing to understand when you've gone to school or you've had explained to you, which is of course vegetables, certain grains, lean meats, fruits, things of that nature. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make you ultimately feel better. It's going to help sustain your physique, of course, and you're going to have more amounts of energy and strength by doing that as well, right? It's not going to kill you, obviously, if you have certain foods that you enjoy eating, but you need to get to that first, right? The main goal is to switch and transform your lifestyle, drop your body fat percentage, and get into a routine that you can handle and that you are going to be benefited from when it comes to eating cleaner, better, healthier foods for yourself. The other point is you have to make sure that you're still going to be in a calorie deficit. That's the golden rule for anything. It doesn't matter what you're eating, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter what foods you're looking at, you always still have to be in a deficit. And just as a small example, if you're eating healthy, let's say for 2 weeks in a row, and then on that 13th or 14th or 15th day, you decide to have a hamburger with some fries, you're still going to be in a calorie deficit because you stayed in a calorie deficit for 2 weeks. So if you have those burgers and fries and you tend to go over that day over your calories, it isn't the end of the world. Don't freak out. You've still been in a deficit for 2 weeks or more, so you're still going to be losing weight. However, what you still want to try and do, even though that's the case, that day you still want to have you still want to have that burger and those fries and that meal within your calories if you can, because the main goal is to get you structured and into a habit to be able to stay in that caloric deficit for as long as you can, so that you can ensure that you're going to keep losing weight. Now again, if just as a reiteration, if you end up going over that day, it's not the end of the world. You're still going to technically be in a weight loss phase because you have been in there for 2 weeks or more. But the idea is to get structured and to stay within that weight loss caloric deficit every day, so that you can continue to lose weight over time. So if this is somebody such as yourself who finds it hard and you find it challenging when you go out to certain events or when you go to the grocery store and you want to buy certain foods, trust me, I get it. I've dealt with a lot of clients like this, but you still have to understand that it's you at the end of the day who has to make these choices. You are the one who has to put the plan in place. There's going to be people that are going to help you, but nobody's going to come and save you. You have to be the one to start taking charge and putting in certain habits and watching certain things that's going to propel you forward in a positive direction so that you can start losing the weight. All right, guys, if some of you have a question, again, put it out there. If there are people who have the answer to that question, put it out there as well. Or if you feel like you have some information that can help anybody, just throw it out there so that other individuals can see, because you never know who you're going to help, and you never know who you're going to help down the road once they join this community and they start going through these videos themselves. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video.